All right, here we are. We are back again for another movie review. And this time, we are visiting an Eddie Murphy classic, if you will, cult classic.
Uh-huh.
And this is what do you call it? The fourth film in a series of movies that I grew up like watching. Even though the movies came out before my time, it was things that, you go and you watch it on VHS and you watch it on repeat. And it was like, in those times where Eddie Murphy was just like everywhere. If Eddie Murphy made a movie, people were watching it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The question now is this. With this latest edition of Beverly Hills Cop, is it a little too late? Is my question. That's the angle that I'm coming at it from. Is that, was the magic lost a while ago? Honestly, was it even necessary to reach back into that pot? Was it worth it? Because, with Eddie Murphy, as legendary and iconic as he is, he has some misses in his catalog. Let's be honest.
Like Norbit?
Well, some people think Norbit is a hit.
Some people do think Norbit is hilarious. And I'm like, y'all.
And I don't, I think it was fun, but it was not, no.
Yes.
So, you never know what you're going to get with Eddie. And I'm interested to know. So for me, that's my angle that I would be approaching it from. But
okay.
You had never seen any of the Beverly Hills Cop films prior to this one being announced and coming out, right?
That is correct. But I have now seen the fourth one, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. And I would like to say I am now part of the cult of people who love Beverly Hills Cop. And I will be going back and watching the originals. Go ahead, drag me. Let's go.
You should. I think you should have before you did this, but you will at least be able to, you'll know.
84, 87, and then 94. But this place has changed a bit.
I got a call from Billy. He's in trouble now. What do you want from me? I want you to be a cop again. God, I missed you, Axel.
Going on a little.
Yeah, so it's so funny because when we saw that this was coming out, I told you that I had never seen the first three.
I was flabbergasted.
You were flabbergasted.
You gassed all my flabbers.
And also, like you, these movies were before my time. And then by the time my time came around, I just never watched them. So you and other people in my life have also given me grief about not seeing a Beverly Hills Cop. But now I've seen this fourth one, so y'all can go ahead and indoctrinate me into the club because I know what time it is.
That's
now.
not how this works. That's
yes,
not how this works.
I'm in the club now.
Anytime when you're watching movies from the 80s, you kind of got to go through the whole thing, and then we will consider you for a members only jacket.
Wow, shady business. But you know what? What I really did appreciate about this one, although I'm not familiar with the history of it, it did have that 80s throwback feeling to it. So, of course, they had the music, the song, which I now know is actually called Axel F. I didn't even know. I knew the song, but I didn't know. But I know now. Okay, I got it now. Okay. So the song is featured, of course, in the new movie several times, which I loved to hear. And then like the 80s feel of it all. So like the cheesiness of the fight scenes and the action scenes, and then the music, not just that song, but then the other music that would play during the scenes. I was like, this is so 80s. I love like the nod to throwing back to that time because movies are different now. So
yeah,
I liked it.
Do you think so? Recently, we're talking about fourth films. And we know that Bad Boys 4 was a huge hit. Another buddy cop kind of film that has, a lot of cult fans. And we spoke about with something like that being so utterly ridiculous in terms of like the things going on, the stunts, the age of our characters. We have this here. So we have Eddie Murphy revising his role as Axel Foley. And does it feel the same to you? Does it feel as ridiculous as Bad Boys? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Just, no helicopter fight scenes and like that. But what did you think? Did it feel more believable at least?
So it's funny that you say that, because the whole time I was watching it, I was trying so hard not to compare it to Bad Boys 4 or Bad Boys Forever, whatever it's called, Bad Boys 4. I was trying so hard not to compare it to, but it was kind of the inevitable. And I have to agree with you. This felt more believable. Eddie, his character looks like he could still be a cop and still be fighting crime to an extent. And there weren't these grandiose, helicopter fight scenes and falling out of helicopters and all these, like it wasn't that. The scenes were a little bit more believable. And I think, again, that was kind of like a nod to the 80s, where like the scenes were not as over the top and extremely produced. It was just like, fighting some crime here and there. You had a shootout scene, which was a little bit much, but it was a lot more believable than a lot of the scenes in Bad Boys 4.
I think so too. I think that it stayed in the pocket of what it was true to. If you go back and you watch the other films, when you go back, Tiera, and you watch the originals, they were fun and they were, just kind of just 80s buddy cop movie personified. Like it just was what it was. And they just rolled on for quite a while. And I was nervous about them dipping back into this this trilogy, now anthology. I was nervous. I was like, okay, why? First of all,
like 40 years after the first one. 40 years. Which, let's just say, the fact that Eddie
sometimes
is able to do that.
I'm just saying, sometimes movies come out like this and everybody ain't around to revise their role.
No, that's real. Like, think about Friday, right? Like, think about the first Friday. Think about how many people are not here to be able to revive their role. Like, think about it. So yeah, I think it's dope that there are actors, that were in some of the original ones that were in this one. And I know that not because I saw them, but because I watched this with somebody who told me, hey, that person's from some of the originals.
I'm so glad that you had an assistant.
I needed an assistant because I wouldn't have known that. So that made me enjoy it even more, because I was like, oh, these people are from the originals. Okay, cool.
Oh my goodness. So we know that you were into it enough to revisit the past films. What I want to know is, as a standalone film, what did you think about it, and what would you rate something like this?
Oh, you be in my head, because I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, okay, I know this is a part of a series, an anthology, so I'm looking at it from that angle. But then I was like, okay, but I really need to look at it from an angle from somebody who doesn't know anything about this, because I really don't. I'm gonna say, I mean, it's hard because it's Eddie Murphy, right? Like, it's Eddie Murphy, and like you said, even when he misses, it's still Eddie Murphy. Like, it's still that. If I were to rate it as a standalone, I would give it a Jennifer Lewis. It's mid. It is entertaining. I would watch it again. I appreciated like I said, the scenes, they weren't over the top. I think Eddie was fine. Like, Eddie does what Eddie does, and he did that in this. I think Taylor Page, who plays his daughter, was fantastic. And the whole time I was like, give Taylor her things. Now, I've seen her in a couple of other movies, and I think she's great. And I just was like, I want to see more of her. And for her to be able to hold her own against an Eddie Murphy was huge. Like, their one-on-one scenes, I was like, okay, she's doing the things. Like, I love to see that. So, I mean, overall, I would give it a Jennifer Lewis if it were a standalone. Now, rating it as a part of the anthology that I've never seen, I would actually give it a Queen Latifah because I like the tie-ins of bringing the old to the new. I
Mhm.
like seeing Detroit. Looks like they really did shoot in Detroit. So like there were different nods to Detroit. They played Big Sean in the movie, and I was like, okay, come on, Detroit. Like, and they were showing like very specific Detroit things. So I thought that was cool. And then of course they switched to Beverly Hills and then just doing kind of like showing kind of the tropes of Beverly Hills. And
Yeah.
it was cool to tie it in. And again, the fact that there are still characters and actors that are alive 40 years later and can be in this one is pretty dope. So I'm teetering between a Queen Latifah and a
Not
Jennifer Lewis on
teetering.
this. Yeah, right in the middle.
I feel the same way. I feel like they were very careful with the property in terms of like making sure that it didn't taint the legacy of the past films, them being such cult classics. And I think I have to respect that. You can tell that they took it serious, and them not being over the top, even though it's Eddie Murphy, they can get the budget to be over top.
Mhm.
But staying true to that vein of 80s buddy cop films and, playing into the nostalgia of the thing, because the people that are going to watch this are the people that are either just into Eddie Murphy, films, but mainly are the people who have seen it in before. There was no need to cater to a younger audience with this.
No,
Which you
not at
find-
all. And they didn't. They didn't.
Yeah, you find that to happen a lot though with these revisions or sequels of past movies, that they will try to modernize it a little too much.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. So I think staying true to the core audience, they know that their audience are going to be, upper 30s and older, right? And this was something for them. Okay.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I am going to be right in the middle as well. I'm going to just give it a Jennifer Lewis. It's not bad. They didn't raise the bar, but they also didn't lower it.
It was right there. Like, it was mid. It was right here.
Something to watch for the summer, something to add to your collection, that kind of thing. And it's not a miss on Eddie Murphy's part, which can sometimes happen.
It was better than Orbit.
Anything is better than that. I'm sorry. But if you've been watching for this long, go ahead and leave a like, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the current iteration of Beverly Hills Cop. And go ahead and let Tiera know what you think about the fact that she had never seen any of the previous ones before this.
Please don't drag me, y'all.
Go ahead and drag her in the comments, please. But maybe you're watching and you also had not seen any of the previous ones when you've seen this one. So maybe there are, maybe your people are out there, Tiera.
Yeah. We can make our own cult. Yeah, our own.
As always, I am TeaRon. You can find me on Instagram at TeaRon World, on TikTok at @2__, and you can also find Ubiquitous Blacks all over the social medias at Ubiquitous Blacks. If you have any recommendations, you want to be a guest on the show, you want to just send us good vibes, you want to send us money, you can email us ubiquitousblacks@gmail.com. On this video, there's an icon. It's like a heart, has a little dollar sign on it. That's a super thanks. If you enjoy this and you got $1 or $2, Tiera and I will split it. Just hit
We will
hit
absolutely
that and leave a donation. Anything you contribute to this will be used to improve the Ubiquitous Blacks channel and all the things that we're doing. And also, I meant to tell you, Tiera, but I'm going to tell you now, as well as everyone watching this. You can now, if you're listening to this as a audio medium, so Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, all the things, you can now send us a text. So,
What?
Yeah. You can send us a message and we can gather up those messages. We can answer your questions. We can take recommendations that way. And there's also a link. So if you go into the description of the show that you're listening to on your podcast platform, it'll say send a text that will come directly to us. And if you scroll down, there are also other ways to support the show. Tiera, with that being said, where can they find you as well?
Yes, you can find me on my YouTube channel is at Tiera Takes. So at TieraTakes. Come by and see me. I am over there doing travel content. I'd love to have you join me. So come on and stop by. And if you want to find me on my socials, you can do that as well. It's all at Tiera Takes, or you can find me on my website, tieratakes.com. And as I always do, I'm going to echo TeaRon. Please send suggestions and recommendations our way of things you'd like for us to review and view, and you want to hear our opinions on. Whenever we get recommendations, we do them. So send them our way.
Definitely send them our way. And I will make sure, y'all, once Tiera's done watching the originals, that she comes back and lets us know where she stands at that point.
Yes, I will do that.
It's been said right here. We're going to hold her accountable for these actions.
That's fair. Fair enough.
So until then, we will see you next week. Peace out.